Welcome to the Emerging Lawyer at the Coffee Corner Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum TIF and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is When Corporate Law Meets Indirect Tax. We have with us Mallows Priscilla, Senior Associate at Economic Law Practice, Chennai. With over 5 years of experience in indirect taxation and corporate law, Mallows has carved a niche for herself in navigating the complexities of GST, corporate regulations, and client advisory. Having transitioned from internships at prominent legal firms to key role at ELP, her insights into the evolving legal landscapes are as inspiring as they are enlightening. So, welcome, Mallows, to today's coffee conversation.
Thank you, sir, for a warm welcome, and thank you for the invite to be here.
Yeah. So let me explain you the flow. It's divided into three parts: professional journey round, then personal journey round, and there's a surprise rapid fire round for which you have to be witty, fun, and quick. And here's your gift: shaping the agency lawyer for future, which will be autographed and sent to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host at Coffee Conversation, legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution. We author of 15 books. We help law firms, corporate legal, startups, and SMEs with world-class technology, software licensing, and tech training solutions. So my first question, Mallows, as someone who has interned in diverse areas like human rights and economic laws, what inspired you to specialize in indirect tax?
Yes, so my internship spanned from different areas. My first internship was with consumer laws and bills areas. So each of my internship was a different area. It was only in my third year when I started interning with economic laws practice. I got an insight or peak show into what is indirect tax laws and everything. And from then, at that time, I haven't even learned tax law in law school. But then it was all new concepts, new laws that we were seeing in internship. And from there on, all my subsequent internships that I've done have been in tax law firms itself. So then I got an interest into taxation. I ended up post my graduation also in an indirect tax law itself.
Wow. So, Mallows, how has the work in indirect taxation evolved since you started as an associate, and what are the most challenging aspects of this indirect specialization?
Yeah. So I started in advisory. I started in indirect tax advisory. Now I'm doing both advisory and litigation. So when I started in advisory, the challenge was to keep updated with the laws because indirect tax, especially GST, as you are well aware, almost every day there's either a new feature on the portal, a new case law changing the entire landscape of how the taxpayers, are filing returns or interpreting the laws or amendments that keep coming in circulars, clarification, instructions. Those are everyday challenge, everyday updates in GST. So when I started working, that reading those updates on an everyday basis, I used to read it on a weekly, monthly basis, right? So on an everyday basis was something new and I came to know. So since my starting, and thanks to my first mentor, Ms. Lakshmi Ratna, who got me into the practice of reading the updates. So I found that as challenging to stay updated with ever-changing GST law. But now I'm getting used to it, and over the years, it's become a habit also to being updated, reading updates in the morning and before you go to bed. So that has become a challenge. That was the challenge I initially faced. And I was in advisory for almost 2.5 years. Then I went to completely litigation. And now I'm in a place where I get to do both advisory as well as litigation.
Wow. So you're playing dual role of litigation and advisory. So, what are the key elements one should look into in both the roles, according to you?
Personally, my view, me being an advisory helped me to gain a good, strong base of the GST law in itself. And I had really good mentors as well. And when I transferred to litigation, I was doing new laws. In advisory, I was doing primarily GST, erstwhile indirect tax laws here and there. But when I transitioned to litigation, I had to do central excise, service tax, VAT, as well as GST. So though these were different laws, indirect tax laws as well, but erstwhile laws. Whatever I learned in advisory, I was able to implement that when I was doing litigation. So when it comes to advisory or litigation, I felt it's about knowing the background of the law. That helped me a lot in both advisory as well as litigation. Of course, in litigation, there are other aspects, your art of advocacy and how you present your arguments. And that I learned by seeing my seniors, assisting them in courts. So that comes in litigation, to be aware of the court where you are in, to be aware of what, the orders the court has passed, before whom you're appearing. So all those things are there in litigation that is added to it. But the base in advisory always helped me with litigation. So I always think that knowledge of the law, the base of whatever matter you're taking it up, the background of the law, to know that law is essential to know, for both advisory, either you're giving an opinion on an, analyzing the GST aspect on a business transaction, or you're fighting out a case for any taxpayer. The background of the law and the basic concept of the law is very important before you take up any matter.
Wow. So, Mallows, how do you balance client expectation with legal compliance, especially in cases involving intricate tax regulations?
Yes. So sometimes it becomes difficult because some of the tax compliances that are there are they are supposed to be business friendly, but when you implement it, it may not be workable to the business models that's being undertaken in. So you'll have to streamline it accordingly. If the businesses are facing it, make a representation to the government saying that yes, there is a mechanism which the government has brought in, but it's not workable to our business. Certain at times it doesn't happen, but it's more of making it work is what I see, because everybody knows English. Whatever the government says, everyone's going to interpret. It's about how we're going to make it workable, implementing that into my business model, my business role. So customizing it based on, the compliance is the same. The compliance is the same. The legal compliance is always the same. But complying as well as in a way that it's complying with the concept of ease of doing business, that is also very important. So client expectations are always there, but clients, they always want to comply. It's the question is, how do I comply with my existing business model in place? So um, that balance is always there.
So, have you faced any challenge while working with a client whereby the information was not accurately given and you faced a not able to handle for litigation or advisory? How do you navigate it?
Yeah, that's there, especially when it comes to old matters. For example, there are clients who are always transparent, and when we need any information, we can always get it. But this difficulty I faced with respect to old matters. Whenever matters come before the tribunals, they are old matters. For example, I argued a 2015 matter, and nobody knows what happened in 2015 at that time. Who was in charge? Some companies, the same person exists. There's the same person who takes care of the matter. So those times, it's not that the client has not told us or anything. One matter I remember, the period involved was 1996, even before I was born. So at that time, you don't know what actually happened there. You can't go and ask, please give me this 94 document, I want to see. So I think in old matters, I've faced those challenges where you don't know. It's not like the client is not giving you the information, even the client is not aware. No, there's no records available anywhere, but you still have to build a case. You'll have to make the court understand it's an old document and bring out a case in a way that how that information may not be required for the court at that time. So yes, that challenge I've faced, but with respect to the old matter.
So, Mallows, who has influenced you from the indirect tax legal world, and or you follow someone, and what are the key learnings you got?
So indirect tax was completely new for me. When I came in, my first job was Lakshmikumaran and Sridharan. And also, most of the senior counsels have inspired me. In fact, to be very specific, Mr. Aravind Hidatar, he is one of my role models. The understanding he has to the constitutional, law aspects as well as the taxation laws I really admire the way he argues, and he's been an inspiration. And not to fail to mention Mr. Lakshmikumaran. So he's been actually a great inspiration. Whenever he comes and visits our offices down in Bangalore and Chennai, he addresses the associates, he addresses us, and each of his speech gives so much inspiration. And also, I've learned how humbling their experiences. Even Mr. Senior Advocate, Mr. Sridharan, when he is addressed us also in Bangalore office, such vast knowledge he possesses and such an humbling attitude he had. So those are, the key inspirational people in the field of indirect tax that I, and of course,
Wow.
my mentors that who I've worked with also.
Wow. So, Mallows, how do you stay updated on the evolving GST and other tax laws to ensure clients receive timely and accurate advice?
Yes. So that I learned as a matter of practice. As I mentioned, my first boss, Ms. Lakshmi Ratna, I remember initial days we used to, come open the laptop. She'll also come, enter the cabin, switch on a light. Was like, this advanced ruling have come. Have you seen, what was the argument made? And I'll be wondering what advanced ruling, where did it come? So then it became a practice every day morning before I start work. There's update mails that we get now. Information dissemination is very easy. You get update mails from Taxutra, TMI, and we are all portals send you update mails, everyday update mails, weekly update mails as well. So those update mails help me. I open every day morning before I sit to work. I open those update mails, or some mails come even in the night. So I make it a point. I got it as a practice now, and also reading of the judgments and the daily orders that are being uploaded on the portal. In the courts, I'm appearing regularly. So that has become a practice. Initially, it was difficult. Even one weekend or even some couple of days, I'm on leave or something, I leave out, I miss out. It'll be like, oh, this changed, oh, that changed. Sometimes I remember there was one time on December 31st, there were a bunch of notifications brought out after the GST Council meetings and stuff. So, yes, that is a challenge, but I try to keep myself updated, because when you're advising a client or when you're representing a matter, you don't want to miss out on something which has an impact on the same. So yes.
Wow. So, Mallows, how has AI made an impact in indirect technology and other things?
AI, not started using it much, but recently there was one software which was piloted in our firm, and I found it really helpful. Especially, it was a specific software, they were piloting it in our firm, specific for legal counsels. I found it very time consuming. In fact, for example, I can't opine it in a very broad way, because I used it specifically for summarizing. Say I read a huge judgment, a 100-page or a 200-page decision. I've read it, I know what's the fact, I know what's the issue, I know what's the ratio, I've marked out the paragraphs, everything. But now I want to put this decision in one paragraph, right? So when I asked the specific software designed for law firms, it comes out at a very nice paragraph. And because I've read it and I know the decision, I know that if it's correct or not. So I am not I have not blindly trusted AI so far. So that has really helped me save so much time in summarizing things, or summarizing decision. But so far I've not ventured too much on AI, that I've blindly trusted AI. In these things, in small things which can save my time a lot, I've used AI, and I feel in that area it has helped. Probably there's more scope for AI to help. But yeah, this is how much I ventured into AI for now.
That's fine. So, my last one will be, Mallows, in your view, what key skills should aspiring lawyers focus to excel in tax laws?
In tax laws. So as far key skills would be, one, ready to be amended, ready to be open for learning is one thing, and also ready to keep yourself updated. Not every law needs that updates that required, but tax laws is like an extra step forward. So ready to learn things. It's not just you learn the law one day, you're done. It's an everyday learning process that happens. Connecting other new topics to tax laws, and initially tax laws, it sounds like a niche area, but once you take interest in it, once you know how it is done, and you have to take interest in it. Without having a liking towards it, you can't try to learn tax laws, is what I would say. So yes, the being open to learn, and making yourself available to keep updated and to keep on learning every day is something.
Wow. So let's go to the next round and understand Mallows as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years.
Sure. So I'm from Chennai. So I was born and brought up in Chennai. I went to a school in Chennai itself. I'm from a family of four. My dad, a couple of years back, he retired from HPCL as a senior blending operator. My mom's been a housewife, taking care of the entire household so much. And I have an older sister who's a doctor, who is specializing in emergency and critical care. So I did my schooling here, and then post which I moved to Bangalore for my graduation. I did my BA LLB honors from Christ University, Bangalore, and then graduated from there. And I joined Lakshmikumaran and Sridharan. I worked there for almost 2.5 years, or almost 3 years there. And then I had to move back to home for personal reasons. So I had to move to Chennai. I was in an indirect tax advisory role in Bangalore, Lakshmikumaran and Sridharan. When I had to move to Chennai, I always wanted to explore the side of litigation as well. So when I had to move to Chennai, I said, okay, I'm going to stay at home. I'll go for, litigation, not just tax lit, but I'll go for civil lit. But taking the advice of my seniors, I moved to indirect tax lit itself in Lakshmikumaran and Sridharan, Chennai. The journey was so good. I got to assist Mr. Raghavan Rambhatran, and the team that I worked was great. And I got to appear also before the tax tribunals and High Court as well. So the journey was really good. And then I got another opportunity in economic laws practice Chennai, where I could do both advisory as well as litigation, and more scope to work in non-tax areas as well. So I took it up. And meanwhile, when I was at LKS, I finished my master's also in corporate and financial laws from Jindal Global Law School. I did that specifically. I wanted to enroll for PhD as well, because that's also one of my goals, to finish PhD. I like teaching as well. So I do teach in the weekends. I take GST course for CMA students. I take GST certificate course in one of the academies here in Chennai, Shine Roots Academy. So I teach over the weekends. I like teaching. So I also wanted to finish PhD alongside work. I don't know how ambitious and achievable that may be, but I finished my post graduation for that purpose. So this is my professional life, personal life, all has been together so far.
Wow.
And that's how it's going.
So Mallows, how do you unwind after a long day of handling complex indirect tax matters?
So yeah, that comes when there's some complex matters, urgent matters, we learn it. It's a lot of learning and a lot of research work that goes to, and there'll be too much information in your head. So if it was a hectic week, so I like to unwind. I usually go to the beaches on Fridays or Saturday mornings. I either go for a sunrise or it's the Friday night beach, because I am from Chennai here, right? So beaches are closer to my house as well. So I like to unwind, with the beach and that atmosphere. As I unwind with some good music as well, and spending time with family.
Wow. So are there any hobbies or creative pursuits you enjoy outside of work?
I like music, especially gospel music. So I like to play piano. I used to make short videos, especially during Christmas and Christmas carols and stuff. So yeah, interested in that also. I volunteer for the church a lot. So involved in church activities as
Wow. So what's a book, movie, or TV series that has inspired you and impacted your personal and professional life?
well. How to answer that question, because not a avid reader other than subject books or non law books or legal books. I want to get into the habit of reading other books, but I like, non-fiction books, history, politics books. Right now, There's no specific books that have inspired me now. There's one book I read every day. Now I've got the habit of reading every day, which is the Bible. So, which has helped me and which has guided me so far. But no other book so far that which completely inspires me or things like that. Right now, I'm reading a book on history of politics in Tamil Nadu. I like politics as well. So, yes, that's how my reading of books is, not very into.
Wow. So, who has been your biggest cheerleader from your family, friends?
Um, my family has always been my cheerleader. Whenever I said I want to go to do law, I said I want to go to Bangalore. I want to go to Christ University and do law. I want to stay here. They've always been supportive. Never said no or rejected my decision. So my dad and my mom, both of them have been my great cheerleader, and my friends as well. Yes.
Wow.
One of
So,
my
what are
friends to
your
mention, Aparna. So she's also been one of the great cheerleaders for me.
Wow. Okay. So, what are your goals for 2025, personally and professionally?
So, personally, in 2025, like I said, I wanted to, start reading more and also, to be more fit physically, mentally as well, and to take care of myself more, to spend more time with family. That's been my personal goal in 2025, to be a better person working on it as well. And professionally, I wanted to, give an attempt to the UGC NET exam because I wanted to enroll to part-time PhD later. So I wanted to finish that. And sometime back, I also enrolled for company secretary course. I wrote the executive first part, and then I have not been having time. So I thought this June I am going to finish the executive module. So that's one of my goals. And I recently joined ELP. It's been 2 months. I joined in the month of January. So one of my professional goals is to excel in the role that I've taken up recently also, and to have a professional progression in that area.
Okay. My last one will be a googly one. Describe Mallows in one line.
Um, that would be a first generation lawyer, um, you know, um, surviving in this profession through God's guidance. So that would be
Wow. Let's go to the next round, the fun round, the rapid fire round. Go to comfort food.
biryani,
Ah, wow. Your favorite color.
red.
Your favorite song.
There's a lot. Can't think of one. Okay, firm foundation.
Wow. Best piece of advice received.
Be open for learning.
The one word that describes your work ethic.
Sincere.
Wow. Tea or coffee to power through deadlines.
Coffee.
So let's do toast.
Yes. Coffee always.
Wow. So you did well, and here's your gift. It will be
Thank
delivered.
you.
So, friends, it was a lovely conversation having with Mallows Priscilla, how she ventured into indirect tax litigation and advisory, also teaching, and how she is participating in church activities. So, this is what our coffee speakers, out of their work, they lead, what do you say, enjoy their life, have creative pursuits, and be with family and everyone. So this is what inspires. So there are over 350 plus episodes with different coffee speakers from different fields, subject experts. They share their stories, the journey, the subject expert. Subscribe, watch, inspire, implement in your life. And if you want to be featured like Mallows, visit our LinkedIn page, the Emerging India Forum, or our website, the Emerging India Forum. DM, fill the form. Our team will invite you to have coffee conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your time.